We interact with artificial intelligence as if it exists purely in the ether. You type a prompt and a response appears seamlessly. But generating those words is a heavy industrial process. It begins by tearing open the earth and forging raw metals at thousands of degrees. While the United States leads in designing frontier software models, intelligence officials warn that Beijing's massive public and private investment into infrastructure is rapidly closing the technological gap. This flowchart maps the frontier AI supply chain. Dominance requires securing every node, from open-pit mines to high-tech foundries. Across this vast network, the U.S. faces 3 specific nodes where its primary rival currently holds massive leverage. Winning the technological arms race requires mastering these 3 physical domains before an adversary cuts off access. The first constraint is the Earth itself. The coming wave of physical AI, humanoid robots, and autonomous vehicles depends on huge volumes of critical minerals like gallium, germanium, and dysprosium. This visualization shows the scale of the challenge. Beijing controls 98% of the global gallium supply and processes nearly 90% of all rare earth elements. We saw the weight of this leverage during the Liberation Day trade war. When the U.S. proposed heavy import tariffs, Beijing responded by immediately halting rare earth exports. That retaliatory embargo sent shockwaves through the American manufacturing sector, threatening the production of autonomous vehicles and the advanced sensors used in U.S. defense systems. Control over these foundational elements dictates the future of autonomous technologies and advanced defense. The second physical constraint is processing hardware. Training frontier models requires tens of thousands of specialized ASICs paired with high-bandwidth memory modules. To slow Beijing's progress, the U.S. government implemented strict export controls, blocking China from purchasing the most capable chips and the complex machines needed to manufacture them. Chinese firms responded by exploiting smuggling loopholes, while the government injected $47 billion into a state-run big fund to build domestic foundries over the next 15 years. Meanwhile, American tech giants and sovereign wealth funds are spending hundreds of billions of dollars to secure their own supply through complex multi-year hardware alliances. Access to these advanced compute resources is now governed by the same strict geopolitical gatekeeping as nuclear technology. The final vulnerability is the electricity itself. Running this hardware requires a staggering amount of power, and global data center energy demand is expected to triple in the next decade. China has built more nuclear power capacity in the last 10 years than the United States has in 4 decades. The U.S. power grid, meanwhile, was already operating at 94% of its permitted capacity by mid-2024. This has created a deep irony. To power new data centers, American tech companies are now buying heavy gas turbines from Chinese engineering firms. Order backlogs at Western suppliers stretch to 2030. Chinese firms, however, can often deliver the necessary equipment by the end of 2027. America's AI ambitions face a hard physical limit. By 2030, data centers could consume up to 12% of all U.S. electricity, outstripping the grid's current capacity to supply it. Realizing these vulnerabilities, the U.S. government is aggressively pursuing sovereign self-reliance. The Department of Defense is taking direct equity stakes in domestic mining operations, while billions in federal funding are being redirected toward domestic extraction and processing projects. This map highlights the top producing countries for critical minerals. To bypass reliance on adversaries, the U.S. is prioritizing new supply chain partnerships with allied nations like Australia and Canada. Simultaneously, policymakers are working to bring shuttered nuclear reactors back online to help generate the 70 gigawatts of additional power capacity needed. Leading the future of intelligence requires the raw capacity to dig the most rock, forge the most silicon, and generate the most physical power.